Hello students of class 12. Today we are going to do the poem Asleep in the Valley. Now we have already done this poem and in before you have already written the answers. Now that reminds me, writing the answers, since I had written it in points in the PDF, you have also written it in the PDF in point form, but in your exams you have to write in complete sentences. Even in your copies I have written that write in complete sentences. And once again I want to remind you that you are supposed to write those answers in complete sentences. Though they are 1 mark answers, but you have to put them in a complete sentence, else marks will be deducted. Okay. Now let us come to the poem Asleep in the Valley. Asleep in the Valley is written by Arthur Rimbaud. And when we did this poem earlier, we have come to know that Arthur Rimbaud was a French poet, and he had started writing at a very young age of, before maybe during his teenage, and he had stopped writing before he reached 21. But though the span is very short, but still we have, his poems are great works of art. And one such poem is Asleep in the Valley. Now, Asleep in the Valley is, first of all, it is a sonnet. Okay. It has the octave and the sestet. That is a sonnet. What is a sonnet? A sonnet is a 14-line poem, and octave is the first 8 lines is called the octave, and the next 6 lines is called the sestet. Now I have written, you have already written the summary, but still, to remind you in short, I have written about the poem that the poem starts with a serene beauty of nature, bathed in sunlight, green everywhere and full of life. Then the poet discovers a young soldier lying open mouthed, sleeping peacefully, and the hummingbirds don't disturb his sleep, undisturbed by the humming of insects. But all of a sudden, the poet receives a shock. And what is that? He discovers the bullet wounds on the sides of his body. And then he understands that the poet is dead. Okay. This was for the gist of the poem. Now let us do the poem once again. A small green valley where a slow stream flows. So slow stream, okay, a stream flowing very slowly through the mountains and leaves long strands of silver on the bright grass. So a stream is flowing from the mountains, and it is flowing very slowly, and it leaves long strands of silver. Why silver? Because when the sunlight is falling on the water of the stream, it is reflecting and it is giving it a silvery appearance. From the mountain top streams the sun. So the sunlight is falling from the falling on the mountain tops and going on to the rest of the area, and the place is full of sunlight. From the mountain top streams the sun's rays. They fill the hollow full of light. They fill the hollow. Now hollow, I had already told you before that hollow means valley, and many a times for 1 mark answer this question comes, what does the poet mean hollow over here? So you will write in complete sentences that the hollow here means the poet here refers to the valley as hollow. They fill the hollow full of light. Now this was for the nature. Okay, it's like, you know, he is kind of a camera, okay, zooming into the real picture. So first of all, we find a small spring flowing through the mountain, and which gives a silvery appearance when the sunlight is falling on it, and this sunlight is falling on the mountain tops, and it is, you know, the place is full of sunlight, and even the valley has been bathed in sunlight. Then we come to the next, a soldier. So first of all, you know, the poet is attracted by this very lively picture of nature, and then when he goes a little further, he finds a soldier, very young, open mouth. His mouth is a little open mouth, a pillow made of fern beneath his head. So his head is lying on the ferns. Okay, so it appears to the poet as though, you know, nature has made his pillow out of ferns. A pillow made of ferns beneath his head, asleep. So the soldier is asleep. He is not a fake. Okay, he doesn't he's not aware of the surroundings. He is fast asleep, and he is very young. This very young is very significant in this poem. A soldier very young lies open mouthed, and his head is lying in the ferns, asleep, stretched in the heavy undergrowth. The rest of the body is in the heavy undergrowth. That is, you know, the grass and other bushes. That is the undergrowth, the bushes. Stretched in the heavy undergrowth, pale in his warm green sun-soaked bed. Why sun-soaked? Because it is sun-soaked, because you know, it is the sun rays are falling everywhere. So even the valley has been flooded with sunlight. But when he looks at the soldier, a very young soldier who is lying asleep, he finds that even though he is lying in the warm sun, still his face is pale. Pale means dull. And he is a bit surprised by that. So this is the first 8 lines of the poem. So in the what we see in the first 8 lines is, first the poet introduces us to the beautiful nature, full of life, okay, vibrant nature, and then in the next 4 lines he introduces us to the soldier who is asleep, unaware of the surroundings. He is lying in the valley, and he is lying among the ferns, seeing which it appears to the poet as though he is, nature has made his pillow out of ferns, and the rest of the body is lying in the bushes. But when the poet sees his mouth is his open mouth, okay, his mouth is a little open, but what surprises the poet is that his face, though it is, he is lying in the warmth of the sun, but still his face is pale. Okay, we stop here today. We'll do the octave part in the next class. Thank you, students.